What is up, Big Red Nation? Welcome to the channel. My name is Jason. It is breaking news day because earlier today we found out that Dylan Raiola is entering the transfer portal. Now, of course, this comes one day after I got on here on my show yesterday and was like, I'm pretty sure Dylan's not, leaving. He's going to stay. And I gave my reasons why. And I still feel like those reasons were pretty sound. In fact, as soon as I got off doing my show, hopped on YouTube and happened to watch Adam Carricker's show, and he happened to even kind of say that he was leaning more towards the fact that Dylan was coming back too from some things that he had heard. Um, and there was a lot of people that kind of echoed those same sentiments. So I don't sit here necessarily saying, thinking, man, I really have egg on my face, but I think a lot of people do. And I think that timing is odd. But I don't know. I guess if you look around college football, I guess today was the day that all quarterbacks were going to announce their intentions of entering the transfer portal. Because once I saw that Dylan did, man, then it was so many others. I mean, Brandon Sorsby and DJ Lagway, Zane Flores, Aiden Childs, amongst several others of all level of names of caliber players that decided to enter the portal. But so here's the thing. I know I've been a big advocate in saying I didn't think Dylan was leaving, and a lot of that had to do with the fact of he is coming off of a broken leg, right? And how quickly is he going to be able to recover, and what teams are going to be willing to pay that amount of money um, for Dylan with him not being fully recovered yet. I'm still very curious to see where he ends up going. And at the same time, like, look, Dylan, I hope everything works out. I am not necessarily mad. I'm actually pretty excited at the prospects of what this could mean for Husker football going forward. I've had several moments on this channel where I have gone through and mentioned how I'm even kind of tired of the whole Dylan Raiola experience and everything that comes with it. Um, I'm kind of it was kind of tired of the whole fact that it seemed like, this program, you know, being held hostage might be a little too strong of a saying there, but almost felt like that though. Like this whole program and Matt Rule was trying to fit this program around one man rather than have Dylan try to fit the program. Um, kind of like to a lesser extent, kind of what Colorado's going through with Deion Sanders. Instead of Deion Sanders being a part of a historical, well, again, maybe that's a little too strong of a word there, but being part of history and the lineage of Colorado football, Deion is trying to be Colorado football part of his legacy. And it was kind of feeling that same way, maybe to a little lesser extent, but it kind of felt that way too with Dylan. It was trying to be Dylan Raiola's era rather than just it's this era of Nebraska football led by Dylan Raiola. The fit just wasn't there. And I think if you kind of read between the lines from a lot of different things that I've heard people say, from Sean Callahan to Steve Sipple to Josh Peterson to Adam Carricker to a lot of other people, you read between the lines and it feels like this wasn't necessarily Dylan just leaving. I think this might have been Matt Rule and this coaching staff finally having a moment of realization and saying, nah, we need to go a different way. I think Matt Rule overall, whenever it comes to his coaching staff, the players, the style of play, everything, I think Rule is finally like, no, we got to get back to the way that I originally wanted this program to go. And that's be, a run heavy team, stop the run, having a mobile quarterback, being aggressive in every aspect of the game. And you saw that with this hires of Jeep Wade, uh, Rob Warwick, um, all these guys, right? If he ends up bringing in Elijah Robinson, still waiting on that story. Um, but so again, I think Dylan brought a lot of eyes onto the program in a good way. Um, also, and a lot of eyes from other recruits in a good way. Obviously, it really opened up the door to more 4 or 5 star recruits and top level elite recruits that I think Rule's been able to capitalize on. And so, it was good for that, right? It was good for kind of getting this program jump started, I think. Um, Unfortunately, things just didn't work out as far as what I feel like the jump that should have happened by now, not just in the program's play, but even in Dylan's play. We've had this conversation many times where he comes in, starts off the year during the non-conference, looks very good, gets into conference play, and numbers just kind of plummet. His ability to throw the ball just kind of plummets. Um, you know, Playing behind a bad offensive line, coached by his uncle. And, again, a lot of people are saying, well, you look at the firing of his uncle and all that stuff. I Looking back, probably what happened was they probably already knew that Dylan was leaving, or at least there was that possibility. And I think Matt Rule finally then I think that's where maybe Matt Rule finally made the decision of, okay, we're not going to go through this again. We're just going to move on. And step one was going and telling Dayton, look, your offer's no longer there. We've decided to move in a different direction. And that might have jump started then on the Raiola side of, well, then Dylan's leaving too. Which then did the whole breakup, I think. So overall, there were good reasons. It wasn't all for nothing of Dylan coming to the program and us taking Dylan in. But I think it's just gotten to that point. I think both sides, the Nebraska program and Dylan Raiola, I think we're only going to benefit from this breakup. So I wish nothing but the best for Dylan. I really do. You know, at the same time, like if he goes off and kills it and we struggle and we can't find a quarterback, we're still really bad. That's gonna suck. I'm gonna hate that. Um, and if we find a new quarterback and we do really well and he goes off and he still just kind of looks like the same old Dylan that was here at Nebraska, I'm not gonna hate that quite as much. Uh, but yeah, so I don't know, man. And that kind of brings us to the next topic of what does Nebraska do at quarterback? Now, they could stick with TJ Lateef and they could bring in another young quarterback to be a backup. I don't know. Personally, just from what I've seen from TJ while he's been starting these last several games, I think he's a guy that's still a developmental project. And at this stage of Matt Rule's tenure, where this program should be at, I don't think you can go into next season with a developmental guy starting at quarterback in the Big Ten. I think he still needs to keep developing on the sidelines. And I think they need to go get a actual good top tier starting quarterback. Again, my number one choice would be Brendan Sorsby. I think that would be insanely well. Apparently, like his girlfriend already transferred to Texas Tech, so a lot of people were thinking he's going to Texas Tech. So then my next person that I think we would need to have to go get would be Sam Levitt. Again, a guy that's been in the playoffs, right? A guy that's done it. Mobile, can throw the ball. Uh, Fighter. He's a big competitor. But then if both those guys fall, my next guy I think that would fit in here really well would be Aiden Childs. I think Aiden Childs would be a really good fit. Um, and I guess with Aiden Childs, I still wait and see because it depends on how much they want that quarterback to run. You know, how much running do they want out of the quarterback position going forward? Um, if they want him to be a legit dual threat, Aiden Childs probably isn't it. If they just want a good mobile throwing quarterback, then Aiden Childs fits that bill. Um, you know, he can scramble, he can run, but he is a throw first quarterback. That is the kind of quarterback that he is. He just happens to be really athletic and can run when need be. But I don't think he's the type of quarterback that could or even would want to sit there and actually have like 10 to 12 run quarterback run plays called a game. You know, he's not gonna like he doesn't want to see what we used to do with Eric Crouch and Tommy Frazier and Jamal Lord. Like he's not that type of quarterback, but he could be kind of more of a Joe Gans, right? So the style of play is there where you can catch defenses off guard and run a quarterback draw or a zone read or a counter or whatever with the quarterback, and boom, he's gone. And you run it maybe 5, 6 times a game. I think maybe he could do that. And then he's still going to throw the ball 20 to 25 times a game and throw for 200 to 250 yards a game. And I think he's talented. He obviously knows the Big Ten. He's been playing in it for a while. So I think he would be a very interesting person to have on this team. Um, outside of that, I'm not really sure exactly who's all out there. I don't think Zane Flores is going to be. I know everybody is going to start looking at him because he's the former Nebraska kid. But what has he done? Even at something like Oklahoma State, like he's not really super performed there. He's not beat out guys at Oklahoma State. So why would he? Why would we think he's going to come here to Nebraska and all of a sudden light people up and go win us Big Ten games? I just don't think that's going to happen. So as of right now, from again the quarterbacks that I see already in the portal, because I'm not going to go and try to guess like who we could go get or who else is going to enter the portal. Again, my top three would be Brendan Sorsby. I think he's the perfect fit for what Nebraska would want to do. I really, really do. And I think he is a guy that could go win us 8, 9 games in the Big Ten. The next guy would be Sam Levitt, just his experience, again, his dual threat ability, and the fact that he could, again, I think he's a guy that could go win us 9 to 10 games in the Big Ten, even with next year's schedule. Because, again, things are so in flux. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, will Indiana be as good next year as they are this year? Maybe. More than likely. I mean, the way that they've proven that they can keep this going. Ohio State's going to be Ohio State. Of course, they're going to be good again next year. Going to be really good again next year. So that's going to be a tough one. Is Oregon going to be as good? We'll see. That's always a program that could maybe drop a little bit. But then again, they have a lot of money. They can just go fill their holes that they had this year with the transfer portal. A lot of people picked out like Illinois. I don't think Illinois is going to be good at all next year. I didn't think they were going to be very good this year, and they were just fine. They were fine. So a lot of people point at Illinois next year being a really tough game. Well, I don't know if we can beat them. Yes, that is a 50-50 game. It all depends on who develops, what transfer portal pickups you get. But Illinois is that team, is at the level of team that from year to year they could be a 6-6 team or a 9-3 team. Like they're all over the place. It just kind of depends on kind of a couple good luck things, what their actual schedule looks like and stuff like that. Again, Iowa. I don't know. I really have no clue what Iowa is going to look like year after year. They're a team that will always be consistent, right? But that last game of the year, it's always like so close and back and forth. I don't know. This year was a little bit of an anomaly because I think, I don't know, the issues that were clearly there at the end of the year. Trying to think of who else is on our schedule. Um, could be close, but anyway, I don't think again our schedule is murderers row. It's obviously clearly tough, and depending on how the rosters shake out going into next year, who knows? And as the season goes on, injuries can play a factor. So like the schedule can always look totally different come first week of October next year compared to what we're thinking it's going to look like as we sit right now. Um, but then, like I said, Aiden Childs, he's been in the Big Ten. He's already been a starter in the Big Ten. He's got the dual threat ability. Um, he's proven it. And so I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see where Nebraska goes with this. I think one thing that they can't do is stand pat. I just don't. I don't think that they can stand pat and throw TJ Lateef out there. Um, come game one next season. I just don't. And who knows? Again, prove me wrong. I don't know. Things can go all over the place. Just from my point of view, I do not see that they can just roll out TJ Lateef next year and think that we're going to go make a run of any sort of flipping this program around. Yeah, so this transfer portal season is really hitting it hard. Really went hard today with the news of Dylan Raiola going into the transfer portal. Again, I'm not super shocked by it. A little surprised, a little taken, a little taken aback by it. Just kind of like because of the timing, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Not super, like I said, not super shocked as far as I knew it was always a possibility. I was just kind of more surprised that there were going to be teams out there willing to spend that type of money on a guy that's got a broken leg right now. I mean, I know he's on the amends, but you know what I mean. Um, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And now, to be honest, I'm even more excited for next football season because I'm going to be watching whatever team Dylan goes to watch Dylan and see what kind of year he has. I'm going to be very interested in that. Of course, Wrestling's got a ton of holes to fill this offseason too. At the running back position, a couple of linemen, a couple D linemen, maybe a linebacker. Yeah, I don't know. And at the same time, I want to see some of our young guys really develop, and we're hopefully going to see maybe some of that in this bowl game against Utah. Should be interesting. But just want to get on here. I'll make this a quick one. Last night was a long show, so just want to get on, talk about this for a little bit. Again, Dylan Raiola hits the transfer portal. Yeah, hey, I think it might be a little bit of a parting of the ways, a little bit of mutual separation. And I think this is another step in Matt Rule kind of gaining back his program in the way that he wants it to run in a sort of way. So I will still be probably hitting you guys up with another episode. If any huge news breaks similar to this, but if not, if it's just like, we finally hire Elijah Robinson or something off to the side like that, I will hit you guys up with another episode. I don't know, maybe Friday or next Sunday. Not sure because we got playoff football coming up this weekend. So I don't know. It depends on when I might be able to get on Friday. If I can get on before the playoff game or not. But stay tuned. Please hit the like button. Share this video. Please subscribe. Really help. I'll really appreciate it. Really helps the numbers. Try to get my channel more views. Get more eyeballs on it. Go follow me on Twitter right here. My X handle here. Yeah, do all the things that all the YouTubers say. Hit that notification bell, all those things. It must be much appreciated. Thank you guys. Anyway, go Big Red, and we'll see you next time.